Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle is off this evening. Well, we're learning more about Thursday's terror attack in Spain that left 14 people dead and as many as 130 injured. Police in Spain still investigating, but say the carnage could have been even worse if the terrorists' original plan had gone off without a hitch. CBS's Terry Okita has more for us tonight from the scene in Barcelona.
Crowds of mourners gathered on Las Ramblas Promenade Friday evening, remembering the lives lost in two vehicular terror attacks. Among the victims, 42-year-old American Jared Tucker, who was on his delayed honeymoon with his wife of 1 year, Heidi. They had just finished eating lunch when a white rental van plowed through the pedestrian area.
Heidi was going to go across the street to buy some souvenirs. Jared said he had to go back to the restaurant to use the restroom, and then everything went crazy. Chaos everywhere.
Tucker's father said it was his son's first time visiting Europe.
Just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it just hard to understand how that could possibly happen.
Witnesses say at first it was difficult to tell exactly what had happened.
I didn't know they were victims. People seemed to be kind of staggering, milling around. Then other people came up and were putting them down on the ground.
Investigators say after the terrorists struck here in Barcelona, they drove a second vehicle into people in the resort town of Cambrils, taking another victim. Police shot and killed 5 suspects at that second scene and made more arrests Friday. Crowds in the town of Ripoll jeered when police took one suspected terrorist away in handcuffs. Sources tell CBS News the terrorists were planning a larger attack with bombs, but that went up in flames in a house explosion on Wednesday. Terry Okita, CBS News, Barcelona.
The dead and wounded were from 34 countries from around the world. The youngest victim was just 3 years old. Yet another shakeup at the White House as President Trump's chief White House strategist is out following weeks of speculation that he would be fired. CBS News correspondent Weijia Zhang has the latest for us tonight on Steve Bannon's final day on the job.
Steve Bannon was one of the president's first White House hires. The right-wing nationalist who used to run Breitbart.com helped the president get elected, although Mr. Trump downplayed that during his fiery news conference on Tuesday.
Mr. Bannon came on very late, you know that. I went through 17 senators, governors, and I won all the primaries. Mr. Bannon came on very much later than that.
Shortly after the inauguration, Bannon described himself as part of a new political order.
If you think they're going to give you your country back without a fight, you are sadly mistaken. Every day it is going to be a fight.
He played a key role in the president's controversial travel ban, but clashes with other top advisors, including the president's son-in-law and senior White House advisor Jared Kushner, economic advisor Jay Kohn, and national security advisor H.R. McMaster, fueled rumors that Bannon's days were numbered.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced Bannon's exit, saying Chief of Staff John Kelly and Bannon mutually agreed Friday would be his last day.
President Trump was at Camp David for national security meetings when the announcement broke. Bannon is the latest high-profile member of the Trump administration pressured to leave. Former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus and Press Secretary Sean Spicer resigned last month. Bannon returned to Breitbart to resume his duties as the website's executive chairman Friday evening. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
And sources tell CBS the president had grown frustrated by Bannon's rising profile. Just this week, Bannon gave an interview to a liberal publication in which he seemed to undermine the Trump administration's foreign policy. Well, after standing for more than a century, the Confederate Memorial Fountain in Helena's Hill Park dismantled and removed today. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian on hand this morning as protesters there made their presence known.
It started Friday morning when city crews started the final preparations for moving the fountain. By 2 p.m., a crane had lifted the largest pieces off their base and dropped them onto a trailer.
Our objective was to safely remove the fountain and keep the large pieces of the fountain intact, and that's what we were able to do today.
Police set up fences to keep people away from the fountain while crews worked on it. On the other side, protesters gathered, carrying U.S., Montana, and Confederate battle flags.
We need people to stand up and do what's right.
You guys all know this is wrong.
2 people were cited by Helena police after they refused to leave the fenced-in area. Patricia Sorensen was one of them. She said the fountain is a part of Helena's heritage that will now be lost.
It doesn't represent hate. It's a beautiful piece of art donated by little old ladies who collected pennies in milk jars and crocheted doilies to help citizens in this town.
Others came to support the city's decision. They said monuments like this cannot be separated from a history of racist movements.
People can still do their marches, their free expression, but cities and municipalities need to do everything they can to send a strong message.
The city commission decided to remove the fountain at an administrative meeting on Wednesday. They cited the possibility that it could become a center for conflict after rallies at a memorial in Virginia turned violent. City leaders say they were pleased with how the removal was handled on all sides.
People were able to voice their concerns, their frustrations, but it was all done in a peaceful manner.
The pieces of the fountain were hauled away Friday afternoon with a police escort behind. Now they sit in a city warehouse. The city commission will determine over the next few months what will be done with the fountain.
And Jonathan Ambarian tells us some of the protesters there today did question just how much taxpayer money would be spent to remove the fountain. And although Helena city officials did not have an exact figure, city crews were the ones who did most of the work. Late today, Governor Steve Bullock expanded his drought disaster declaration for Montana. It now includes 31 of the state's 56 counties and 6 of Montana's Indian reservations. Yellowstone and Bighorn counties, along with the Northern Cheyenne and Crow Indian reservations, now included in the drought disaster area. It's all part of the governor's order. Also, hours of service regulations and temporary fuel permits have been waived for commercial vehicles providing support for the drought. 155 soldiers with the Montana National Guard's Bravo Company will become part of the security team working the Lolo Peak fire near Missoula as of tomorrow. The soldiers will help staff 35 security checkpoints around the Lolo Peak fire area. That will free up law enforcement to perform other duties. The 19,000-acre Lolo Peak fire forced more evacuations overnight. Upwards of 1,500 homes and properties have been evacuated, and today officials did confirm that 2 primary homes were lost overnight. Also tonight, some sections of Highway 12 close to the encroaching flames have been closed. The governor's staff says that potential further deployments of ground and air support from the Montana National Guard is being examined. Onto the weather scene here in Billings. Across town, the same tale of people, Bob, who can't find those eclipse glasses, but you know there are ways around that.
They're
right?
sold out, and we well, of course, remember 2014 we had a partial eclipse,
right?
And so we had to come up with something to do then. And here's what we found out. Here are some ways that you can look at this eclipse safely, both directly and indirectly. So firstly, directly, if you have some welder's goggles, those will work very well. Or if you remember from 2014, we had these little eclipse viewers. If you still have those around, they were approved viewers, and those will work on Monday. But if you don't have either one of those, you can use the telescope that kind of projects the sun's eclipse onto a piece of paper. Or one of my favorites, we use this in grade school. You get a pinhole in a box and you project that eclipse onto basically a piece of paper inside the box as you look inside it. It looks kind of stupid because you're sticking your head inside the box, but it actually works pretty well that way. Our forecast is looking pretty comfortable for the weekend. We'll chat about that coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, there's a conspiracy with animal crackers, and it's running loose at the Montana Fair. We'll take you to the Midway to fill you in. Plus, under layers of rust, paint, and dirt, it's a great history of Montana cars coming up. And in sports, round 2 had a tough act to follow at the Yellowstone River Roundup tonight. Highlights from the Montana Fair Rodeo on the way.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Kohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.